Welcome to all of you. Before to start, I would like to ask you to close your eyes. We will travel together to the past. Please just imagine that we are on the Cretaceous era, and we are surrounded by dinosaurs. Please open your eyes. Suddenly, you just imagine that something is approaching to the earth, a ball of fire. Suddenly, you start to feel in your skin a lot of hot and warm environment. You feel thirsty, suddenly your hair starts to burn, and in less than 3 seconds, everything is dark. So, I'm not talking about science fiction movie. I'm not talking about Hollywood films. I'm talking about an amazing, huge phenomena that occurs in the coastal zone of the Yucatan Peninsula, 65 million ago. I would like to introduce myself again. I'm Yolanda Lopez from Ludwig Maximilian University at the Department of Geography. And as you can see, I love maps, because with maps we can see very clear some ideas that sometimes numbers can't represent. So let's have a look at this map. This is a map of the tectonic movement of our planet during those times, 65 million years ago. As you can see, and as an example, Yucatan Peninsula is located here. You can see here also a ring, or a circumference. In the past, a meteor crashed in this area and formed a very amazing circumference on the land. Just to imagine a drop falling on the water. The first drop that falls in water forms an expansive wave that goes and so on and so on and so on. So this is the first step of an expansive wave. So let's have a look at another map. This is a satellite image of the NASA. In here you can see the portion of the buried Chicxulub impact crater in the Yucatan Peninsula. The name is because in here you can see there is a community that is, the name of this community is Chicxulub. That's why this crater is called the Chicxulub crater in Yucatan. The diameter of the ring is 170 kilometers of diameter. And one semicircle is on the land and the other semicircle is on the ocean. Let me explain a little bit, but first of all, I want to show you some images. These places are called cenotes. The word cenote is a Mayan word that means sinkhole, and it's a dolin that is full of fresh water. Let me show you another map. This is again a very clear representation of the Yucatan Peninsula and the depression that this crater formed in this part of the world. Here you can see a perfect circumference formed by dots that are called cenotes. Here is again another map. Here you can see white dots perfectly arranged in a circumference again. These all white dots are cenotes. In the real world, or in a photo, they look like this, and this, and this. But let's have a look a little bit closer. Here is a cenote. But why I'm telling you all of this is not because I'm interested in learning about dinosaurs or meteors. It's because I'm interested in groundwater. Why I'm interested in this topic is because I think to know what is happening in the groundwater, we need to know first what is happening in the top of the land. So let me show you another amazing map. This map represents the Yucatan Peninsula, and it shows the hydrological patterns of the country in Mexico. As you can see, the only part without rivers on the surface is the south part of Mexico. What does it mean? It means that for the population living there, the only source of fresh water is groundwater reservoirs. But I was also interested in learning a little bit more about what is happening there and how population is developing the strategies to cope with the pollution of groundwater bodies. The area has been attracting a lot of interest since ancient times, not only local institutions, but also projects from NASA, NOAA. So a lot of institutions want to travel there and to develop projects, not only for these amazing geographical and geological characteristics, but also because this was an amazing place in which one of the most complex societies developed there. This is another map. It's very clear and is amazing too, because it represents the distribution of archaeological sites in the Mayan area in Mexico without taking into account Guatemala and Belize. This society, the Mayas, they were developing a lot of their culture in different ways. They were amazing painters, physicists, mathematicians. They developed a very complex hieroglyphic writing. But my interest was also the strategies that they developed in order to deal with this complex environment. And I will say a complex, dry environment. So to give just an example, the Mayas, they conceived the universe as a complex world in which nobody ends and nothing ends. It was conceived as a circle and as a cycle that was formed first by a place that is called Bolonticú and a place that is called Xibalba. And in the center of this amazing universe is the Yaxche, or Selva de la Vida, or Tree of Life. For the Maya, Xibalba was the name of the underworld in which everything was dark, everything was full of hypocrisy, tyranny, and all bad things around the world. So I'm focusing in Xibalba because I strongly believe that this metaphor of Xibalba can be applied in the real world, but the real world of science. Xibalba, for me, is like science, because now we are dealing in a world of uncertainties and complexities, and we are making science. But we need not only to make science, we need to communicate and to share science with all the people that they are not able to do science. I think that we are now trying to satisfy only our needs, but I'm strongly disagree with that, at least in my perspective, because I want to contribute to the solution of the problems of this real world. As an example, I've been doing a lot of research in groundwater bodies, and I have been dealing with this kind of landscapes. Endemic species with a lot of the human influence and the human factors that affects these resources. Again, this is an idyllic place, but it exists. So for me, in this case, I'm trying to explain why it's important to know the drivers that are affecting groundwater resources at this moment, not in the past, with our activities. I wanted to show you another map. It's a simplified version of the global groundwater resources. As you can see, societies depend completely in groundwater resources because we cannot drink water from the oceans. So in this part, you can see in a blue color the major regional aquifer systems. Yucatan is considered in one of them. These groundwaters are transboundary groundwater ecosystems with a lot of endemic and biodiversity. Let me show you again another scheme. This is the conceptual representation of key interactions between groundwater and climate change. Everything is affected by our use of groundwater resources. So we need to deal with this complexity by taking into account that everything that we do here goes to the aquifer. In places where we have rivers on the surface, there is not a big problem. But in places with a lot of water stress and without rivers on the surface is another issue. So why I'm strongly interested in this topic, why I'm like the woman of water? Well, it's because I think that only one discipline is not able to deal with all this complexity. So, in my opinion, transdisciplinary approaches are the best solution to deal with these problems. But believe me, there are another several thousands of options that we can use in order to integrate communities and in order to integrate people to our projects. It's not only to make science for us or for the academia. It's make science for our people, for us, for my family, for my kids. So, this is just an example of how a honeycomb in nature can be developed also in science. And I've been working with this approach after walking in a long path of science, dealing with a lot of complexities, not only on science, but also in my life. I grew up in a rural area in Yucatan, Mexico, without any services, without any support of institutions, without any support of people that were near to me. These are the houses in which my community used to live. These are the food that we used to have. And these are the ceremonies that we also used to practice. So I decided just to stop. And I decided to do something in the real world, not in the Xibalba world. This is the population of the Mayan society, a society that is still here. This is my mom. She teach me that everything is possible if you want. This is my house. Without chairs, without tables. I grow here. I grow with communities and I learn from them. Why is your motivation? That's my question. My motivation is my country, is groundwater, is my community, is my family. My motivations are you. What and where are your values, guys? My value is that I want to do something different. I want to contribute. What are you waiting for? We need to fight right now, not tomorrow, not in 1 month, now. So, do you really want to contribute? We can contribute with anything in this world, in this universe. With a plant, with a human, with an animal, with an idea, everything can contribute, and we can do it. So I just want to leave this message to you, and I want to invite you to work in real, not in the Xibalba, in this dirty place of science. Dios Potic Tech. Thank you.